Howdy, I'm Ben Solak. Week 18 and the 2023 NFL regular season are in the books. Welcome to the play sheet. The opening script. What to do about Tua. Pretty good. When the year started, everybody, and by everybody I mean like giant football nerds like me, were really interested to see what the second year of Mike McDaniel and Tua Tagovailoa was going to look like in Miami. That first year, the 2022 season, that was the new storm, right? That was the offensive innovation. It felt like a 2017 moment, a Shanahan and McVay moment, where this style of offense was going to take over the league. It was going to proliferate everywhere. But that would only be the case if in year two, Mike McDaniel could stay ahead of the curve and Tua Tagovailoa could improve as a player. Early doors, it looked like both had happened. Our first episode of the season, week one, was about the Dolphins' 36-34 win over the Los Angeles Chargers, a defense that had stymied the 2022 version of this offense. There were schematic innovations from Mike McDaniel, but critically, there were signs of improved play, a step forward from Tua Tagovailoa. Let's refresh and rewind. We're gonna snap the football. It's in a little back in motion, and we're at the top of our drop. What do we got? We are running that same in-breaking route, man. I mean, this is the money route, and the Chargers know it's the money route. The Chargers ended up dropping Derwin James deep middle. That's Derwin right here. And then the two safeties stepped down, and they're operating as robbers. Their whole goal is to take away that intermediate middle of the field, take away that area that Tua wants to throw the football to. So this route's breaking right here, right? Tattoo this guy at the 35-yard line. Maybe you pick up a first down. And Tua thinks about it, right? We're gonna watch Tua get to the top of his drop and start to separate the hands. You see him right there. Separate those hands. He's thinking about throwing this route, but the receiver's fallen down, right? Now, Tua's not throwing this. He's not throwing it even if the receiver stays up because he's already made the decision. That's the safety stepping down. So firstly, we have the decision not to throw this, which is great. Even if the receiver stood, it's doubly great because the receiver fell down. So now it's 3rd and 10, and the Chargers took away your first read. Typically against Tua, this is ball game, right? This is done. Watch Tua climb up in the pocket. You can see that head flip over to Tyreek, and then this throw. On the move, Khalil Mack reaching a paw out for you. 45 yards down the field. I mean, in the breadbasket. That play right there had me just unbelievably hype for that 2023 version of Tua. That play saw him get off of an initial read and get to a second guy in the concept, uncork a beautiful vertical ball, right? A ball that often challenges his arm strength. And critically, it saw him succeed from a pressured pocket, everything that he needed to do better. I really hoped that play was indicative of more plays to come, that would continue. And I had to remind myself again, it's a 1-game sample size. We can't get too excited, but man, and again, it's week one. And we got to try to remain calm. And I'm talking to me as much as I'm talking to you. Not to get over my skis, to wait and see what Tua looked like over a larger sample. Well, we have that large sample now. Here's Tua's EPA per dropback when pressured in every game so far this season. You can see the excellent start against the Chargers, and then in that week 3 uproarious performance against the Broncos. Since then, not as good. In fact, when you look at quarterbacks across the league, Tua has the most dramatic negative effect on his pressure dropbacks relative to all of his dropbacks. Pressure hurts Tua more than pretty much any starting quarterback in the league. Let's forget about pressures. Let's forget about blitzes. Let's just look at those plays in which Tua had to hold the ball for more than 2.5 seconds. These are plays where that quick game, that dart style of Mike McDaniel's offense suffered for some reason. And Tua had to hang back there in the pocket, make decisions, get off of first reads. And again, we see stronger to start the season, deteriorated over time. So Tua was strong to start the season because he'd improved. Absolutely, he'd worked hard in the offseason. He deserves credit for that. But largely, the offense was better because Mike McDaniel had some new tricks, some new flares, schematic stuff that defenses weren't ready for. Only in 2022, when the offense was totally new, it took defenses like 12, 13 weeks to catch up. This year, they already had a year's worth of film. It didn't take them 12, 13 weeks. It only took them like 4 or 5 to catch up. So if defenses catch up to the scheme, it puts more on the quarterback to perform. There's more percentage of the pie is on the quarterback's plate. He has to carry more of the offense. Such was the case in Week 18 against the Buffalo Bills, division on the line at home. This is a defense now that knew they were going to face you twice coming into the season. So schematically, they worked really hard to deal with Mike McDaniel, to deal with your nonsense. And you're walking into this game, no Raheem Mostert in the backfield, no Jalen Waddle at wide receiver. Your offensive line's been enduring a carousel of injuries. Welcome to the league, baby. Welcome to the NFL. It ain't always perfect. You got to deal with an injured team. You got to deal with a great defense that's curated to beat you, and you got to deal with high expectations. This is franchise quarterback football right here. And when Tua was put in the same circumstances in which he excelled in Week 1 against the Chargers, he struggled in Week 18. Let's go to play action. I want to start talking vertical balls, right? These deep downfield arcing throws, because numbers will tell you that Tua's like sufficient on these throws, that he's good in the league. It's not there on the film. Like his receivers just solve a lot of problems for him, and his arm strength causes issues. And it has to be acknowledged on the film. It's there. You can't argue with it. They got Tyreek Hill in this little H-back alignment, which is one of the new things they're doing this year. They're going to motion him and then snap the ball with him in motion as he's kind of stepping into that number 2 receiver alignment. He's going to go vertical. And they're going to get a vertical route here outside from the back, and then there's going to be an underneath route right here. They end up with an ideal defensive look for this idea, right? Because the Bills are going to rotate to cover 3 with this safety rotating deep, this safety stepping down, and then you go deep third here and a deep third here. So who is now responsible for this Tyreek vertical? It's going to be Benford here, the deep third player, who's starting already way outside, right? He's starting to be far outside of this route. And then this safety also has to come help, and he's coming from the other side of the field. This is the optimal look that you could be getting here. This is ideal, right? You see, as Tyreek's going down the field, this safety steps down. This safety wants to help, and Benford wants to get connected to the route. I mean, there is no one who can impede Tyreek Hill on his way down the field. He got a free release on the vertical route, and Tua knows this, right? Tua's at the top of his drop. This ball's going to Tyreek on 3rd and 7 every day of the week. You got to hang this thing out there. You have to miss Tyreek Hill long. You cannot miss him short. First, if you miss him short, you're throwing defenders back into the concept. You're throwing defenders into the route. If you miss him long, the only guy who's getting is Tyreek Hill. You have to overshoot him and then trust that Tyreek can get under the ball. Firstly, why are we patting the baby in the pocket, right? What's with the little double tap on the ball here? Just hitching us and uncork it. See the hesitation in his feet? Why are we hitching twice? Just throw it, brother. Just land on your back foot, one hitch and launch this thing. But he doesn't. And then he feels like he has to beat the safety, and this is dramatically underthrown, right? You say, oh, no, Tyreek Hill had a chance. No, right here, this ball needs to be upfield. It cannot be dying at the 20. It needs to be getting to the 15. Hit Tyreek in stride. So the vertical routes are a problem. This is 2 weeks ago against the Cowboys. First play of the game, it's the same thing. Tyreek here is the outside receiver, but we're going to get motion right here. He's going to end up being the number 2. He's going to be on a vertical route. And again, the Cowboys are going to drop the safety, rotate to cover 3, right? So this is same look. This is the first play of the game. Okay, snap the football. Again, there's like a hesitation in the pocket, and this time Michael Parsons is coming to just ruin everything the way Micah does. Oh, but it's still a good ball, catchable ball. Tyreek should have caught it. Yeah, Tyreek should have caught it. It's also not accurate. Right here, which you have to get this ball this way. You have to be pulling Tyreek away from this corner and assuming that he's going to outrun the safety to the ball, right? Hang this thing up in the air. He's going to beat the safety deep. Take him away from this corner. Don't throw him back into this corner, right? You're now forcing him to catch this on the wrong shoulder. He's got to lean away from coverage. Make the catch a lot more difficult. So even it's a catchable throw. He should have caught it. That's only because Tyreek usually makes those incredible catches. That's still not an accurate ball. Now, absolutely worth acknowledging that on the very next play, right, 2nd down, they snap it. They go Jalen Waddle and isolate on the outside, and Tua puts excellent vertical ball on him, right? So he is capable of making these throws. We saw him make it against the Chargers. We see him make it right here against the Cowboys. But there is way too much variance in the ball placement, way too much risk, right? We saw an interception be generated, and it's an arm punt, 40 yards down the field. Still, we should be house calling that. That should be 6 when we get Tyreek Hill with a free release off the line of scrimmage vertically. We should be scoring on that play. And Tua too often misses these throws. Now, last thing on the vertical throws, and this is maybe the most meaningful thing to me. You're going to be erratic on them. They're not your best throw, whatever. In an offense in which we run a lot of this in-breaking stuff, right? And an offense in which we're really good at running the football, and we do it at these condensed formations, all that's going to force safeties to play lower, right? All that's going to force safeties to play in this area of the field because they want to take away this route. We have to be willing to punish that by throwing the vertical. We can't say no to the vertical, especially when it's Tyreek Hill on a free release. This offense gets Tyreek on free, unpressed releases, moving with speed at the snap. It's cracked. It's hacking. It's unbelievable. You can't say no to it when you get it, which this money play for the Dolphins, right? They run this all the time. Tyreek's going to come in motion. He's going to become the new outside receiver, and then he's going to go vertical. They're just going to run that little glance route right here, right? That's running back right there. That's a Devon Achane. And then at the snap, this tight end goes and sifts across, right? They get the sift, they get the glance, and they get the wheel. This is their most common RPO play action pass. They run this all the time. Okay, snap the football. What does Tua say? So we're motioning out here. This tight end is going to olay this blocker and move to the flat. Initially, that looks like it's going to be open for us. This is probably going to get mucked up, right? This nickel's playing with inside leverage. Tyreek here is in a foot race with Benford, who has like a 4-yard advantage, which is basically nothing. And then the safety is, remember, coming from this outside hash. So as this runs, to me, right now, Tua is setting to throw this, and he absolutely unequivocally should. It looks like the corner's on top of him. It's Tyreek Hill. No, this isn't as clean of a window as the other ones, right? The safety is closer and the corner's more upfield. This still is a throw vertical to me. This is an absolutely hang this thing upfield and have Tyreek run underneath it. And then Tua denies it, resets to the tight end, and it's a 2-yard gain. But just watch Tyreek. You got to throw it. You got to throw this. And Tyreek turns off the jets a little bit. I'm guessing that he, seeing Benford on top of him, knows Tua's not going to throw this. But to me right here, this ball should be upfield for Tyreek. So it's one thing to be missing the throws. And it's another thing to be saying no to them when they are, in my opinion, NFL open. We have to be, in the structure of this offense, when we get a safety this low and this leverage with Tyreek Hill, we got to throw this again and again and again. Yes, you got picked off on it, throw it again. Because it's a 75, 80-yard touchdown if you just hit it. You got to throw this. I think the vertical routes are so important to talk about because structurally, again, if you're gonna be so good at these in-breakers, which the Dolphins get more out of these in-breaking routes, these glances and these digs than any other offense does in the league, you have to be able to punish it somehow. And right now, the Dolphins, for all the juice they get out of the squeeze from those in-breaking routes, those play-action in-breakers, the necessary counterpunch of that vertical route down the field they don't have. There's still meat on the bone. And that's on their good stuff. When you get them out of their good stuff, when you force them structurally or down and distance-wise or pressure and blitz looks-wise to get into a different concept, that's really where the offense, and particularly Tua, starts to fall apart. All right, this is 3rd and 7, fourth quarter, not the final drive, the drive before it, the penultimate drive. All right, and it's 6.5 minutes left, you're down by 7. You'd like to score on this drive. You don't want to have to go earn another one. Pre-snap, Dolphins are in empty, and they're going to send the tight end in motion to the outside. Bills are confused, right? Bills are having a whole conversation here. Second-level players are talking. Look at Micah Hyde right here. It's like, who's going here? And then they move Jordan Poyer. Okay, tremendous. We end up with a clear blitz look, right? They have 7 on the line, and there's 5 in protection. So what the Dolphins are doing here is they're full sliding the protection to the right. They're worried about all the rushers there. And Tua, you're expecting at least 5 to come, right? Maybe 2 players drop, and then they get a single high safety, they play some sort of cover 1. Or, more likely, 1 player drops to this 3 receiver side. They need an additional player there. So one of these guys drops, and then they bring 6. And when they bring 6, they're bringing 1 more than you can account for, right? You only have 5 in protection. So we're going to full slide this to the right. You expect to be hot off the left. You expect to open to the left side and replace the blitzer. Rule for the quarterback, wherever the blitz comes from. You have to throw that side of the field. You have to replace the blitzer. That's what the void in coverage is going to be. Pre-snap, that's what we expect. This plays out as we expected, right? They bring 6, 1 more than we can handle. And so now we have to open to the left side and throw to this side. We have Tyreek Hill going vertical. The tight end is going to be hot underneath right now. Remember, this is the line to gain, 3rd and 7. This ball absolutely unequivocally has to go to the tight end. This is an unacceptable decision from Tua. That you are throwing this vertical from Tyreek Hill here. That's the ball location. It's 1 yard in front of a flat-footed defender, which I understand he's getting past the sticks. And Tyreek and Tua, the chemistry is nuts. The fact that Tyreek turns for this and then is ready to catch it and almost catches it is very impressive. But structurally, you have to throw this, right? Hit Durham Smythe in stride. He is going to contact Christian Benford right around the 35-yard line. He's going to win that contact. He's going to have mobility. He's going to have momentum. And he's going to finish through contact, pick up a first down. The read here is extremely clear. You have to throw this to Smythe. I'm all for force feeding it to your stars. This is the wrong read from Tua on a critical down against the blitz look. Wrong read. All right, now we're on the final drive. 1st and 10 at the 40, no timeouts, minute and a half left. Concept. We're going to motion the back out, a little bumper motion, and then we're going to get a smash, right? We're going to get a high-low read here on the outside. Back's going to be to the flat. That's our look there to the 2 receiver side. That's Tyreek Hill at the top. 3 receiver side, we got Cedric Wilson running this seam route, this divide, right? And then we're going to go out breaking around here from the tight end, and Barros is on the shallow. He's underneath fast. This is our concept. Initially, we're looking like too high, right? And against too high, you can throw the 7 cut. You can. It's a tough throw, right? Because what you're going to get as we run this is you're going to get sail technique from Christian Benford here on the outside. Sail technique from this corner. He's going to put his butt into the sideline. He's going to try to sink underneath this 7 cut, right? So he's taking away your ability to throw this hard and fast, right underneath right now. So now you have to throw this a little bit further upfield, and that's going to pull you into this safety. So you can throw this. You got to throw it with timing. You got to throw it with velocity. What you can't do in the pocket now is climb as if there's pressure when there's none, right? I do not understand what Tua's feeling right here that makes him think he can't just land on his back foot, hitch and drive. Like, what are we running from? We are running into pressure. I think this is a bad mistake right here in terms of managing the pocket. Now, against the Chargers, we saw him make this crazy good throw while on the move climbing up in the pocket, right? And so, okay, out of structure and whatever. So here we are, we're throwing the move in the pocket now. We're late to this ball, so we have to drive this thing. This sucker has to be on a line right now and take Tyreek a little bit away from the corner, but then hit him in the numbers. What we can't do is this thing can't float because it's going to give the safety so much time to get in on the play, right? Because we have enough room to throw this because the safety is playing so deep. Again, respect for Tyreek's speed. So you have to drill him with this ball. You have to hit him fast before the corner, before the safety. This can't float. And so we made the throw harder for ourselves by overreacting to a pressure that didn't even exist. And then we threw the wrong ball because we're throwing on the move and we're outside of structure. The other thing that's irritating is that if we're doing our homework right at the snap, right, we're checking the safeties, this safety drops, right? And that boundary safety stays too deep. And so when we have this safety drop low and this safety stays deep, we should ask ourselves about this route right here, right? Because right now there's no post safety, there's no middle of the field safety. What they did is they dropped the nickel, rotated to Tampa 2, bringing the safety down because they're worried about this route because that's the route you worry about with the Dolphins. But if we're doing our homework and we see this safety stay wide and this safety drop down, we should start thinking about this, right? Which usually is not in the concept for you, but you can get there. You can alert there if you want, and it's open. But because we didn't manage the pocket correctly, we can never get there, and now we're forcing the ball to Tyreek Hill again in what's an achievable window, but we hit him with the wrong throw. Okay, next play, 2nd and 10, minute 17, no timeouts. We missed that 1st and 10, let's get back to it. 2nd and 10, we're gonna get a little high-low stretch, right? We're gonna get this drive crosser here, we're gonna get the shallow there, backs out to the flat, we're gonna go motion with Berrios, he's gonna run a little pivot route, and then we have Chase Claypool right here running this corner, all right? Initially, Bills in too high, makes sense. We're gonna get a little motion, and snap the football. This ends up being 2-man, right? We are locked up in man coverage across the board with 2 deep safeties. Now, one thing that is worth noting, these 2 defensive players exchange these 2 routes after the motion, right? And so we'll see the leverage they play with here inside and upfield. Inside and upfield. See the leverage they have inside of their responsibilities and upfield from them. Why? Because they're taking away these routes, right? These are the routes you take away from the Dolphins. You don't let them have this. We did deflation on this in 2022, Chargers versus Dolphins. Inside and upfield leverage against this motion. So the response is going to be, all right, let's run an outbreaking route, right? Let's run this corner route into the sideline. So Mike McDaniel told Tua, he said, hey, if they play with that inside upfield leverage and we have an outbreaking route dialed up, you throw that outbreaking route, it's going to be great. The problem is they are too deep. They have 2 deep safeties. And there's no Tyreek Hill on this side of the field to make this safety line up freaking over here, right? Like this is Chase Claypool, Braxton Berrios, and Durham Smythe. So he doesn't have to play as deep as he usually does. So you right now are going to try to throw an outbreaking route. There's a deep half safety over here. There's nothing else vertical threatening him, right? There's nothing that he needs to worry about respecting. Like it maybe this, but there's nothing for him to fear except for the only vertical route that's coming his way. And initially on it, he has outside leverage, right? He has outside leverage on this route right here. You can't throw this. You can't. It's not open. We got inside and now he's underneath, and we have upfield and outside, which he's a little bit disconnected, but he's flat-footed and there's nothing threatening him vertical. He has no momentum right now, right? That's it's taking him down the field. Like he's currently running this way. No, he is flat-footed. He's standing here. You can't throw this, right? And Claypool runs the route like it's a corner. Tua kind of wants him to run it more like it's a flat route, like it's a straight out route, right? It's flat to line of scrimmage. I don't really think the communication matters too much. You cannot throw this ball into this coverage. Of all the routes on the field, it is the one that is most never open. It is the 5th best out of the 5 routes. You got to throw this. right? And okay, minute 17, you have no timeouts. You want to be thrown to the sideline. I understand that. But if the safeties are going to be this deep and you're going to have inside leverage, hit him here. He gets tackled right here. Walk up, spike the football. 1st and 10 from the 30-yard line. 56 seconds left. This is not processing. If you're processing, you know that you can't throw this route. Like if you're thinking in real time on the field, you're never throwing this. Anyway, he gets picked. Bad route from Claypool, but you can't throw this. Now, just as you don't want to overreact to a one-game week 1 sample against the Chargers, you don't want to overreact to a week 18 one-game sample against the Bills. Don't let the highs get too high. Don't let the lows get too low. The truth of the player is somewhere in the middle. And the truth on Tua remains what it has pretty much always been for the last 2 years. He plays in an unbelievable system with unbelievable talent. And when those things start to fall away, when defenses can take away some of the systemic help, or when matchup players get injured and the speed on the field isn't the same, Tua struggles to account for the deficiencies. He struggles to fill in the gaps the way you'd like for a franchise quarterback to do. And that really is the question, the franchise quarterback question. Look at the 2022 quarterback class. Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts. These guys have gotten major contract extensions. Jordan Love is almost certainly next up to the plate with how he's performed for the Packers this year. Tua has yet to get that deal. He's approaching his 5th-year option for the 2024 season. And after that, he's not signed. The Dolphins have to answer the question, ideally this offseason, maybe you can push it one more offseason. Do we want to give this guy a mega quarterback deal? You don't want to answer that question off of one week 18 game against the Bills. Not fair to say you can't pay Tua because he was bad against the Bills. It is fair to say that over the last 2 years, Tua has had lots of opportunities to elevate this offense, to bring more to the table than just to be the point and shoot game manager Mike McDaniel robot on the field that just says, where's Tyreek Hill? I'm going to chuck it near him. And time again, Tua has shown that he struggles to elevate. He struggles to bring that additional aspect to the offense. He struggles to account for the gaps when they show up because of injury, because of schematic issues. It's hard to argue for Tua as a $50 million quarterback. It just is. He has another season. He's got another offseason to get better. He's going to have another season with Tyreek Hill and with Waddle with a healthy offensive line, but Hill's going to be a year older. The league is going to be a year smarter on McDaniel's offenses. It's not going to get easier from here. It's going to get harder. And eventually, come contract time, the Dolphins are going to have to make tough decision. And that'll do it for us here on the Play Sheet. Thank you so much for watching our 3rd Tua episode in 2 years of doing this. Hope you've enjoyed them all. Hope you enjoyed the season. We did week 18, regular season's done. We're gonna be doing episodes all postseason. So make sure you rate, review, and subscribe. Make sure you thank Corey McConnell for producing. All right, and I'll catch you next week.